A Junkion that becomes a garbage truck. There's a certain amount of irony in this. So, who's your favorite wrestler? The Rock or John Cena? Then again, I'm more old school. Give me Sergeant Slaughter any day. Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. We're continuing our look into Legacy Evolution figures by taking a look at Trashmaster. Like Larry pointed out, he will become a garbage truck, something that seems a little bit strange, since at one point Hasbro really didn't seem interested in doing one as a garbage truck. After all, garbage trucks are giant, smelly vehicles that are necessary for our use in the world since they haul our garbage away. But they don't make exciting vehicles. However, the GoBots, back in their run during the 80s, they did have a garbage truck in their lineup known as Flytrap. And again, while he wasn't the most exciting or interesting GoBot out there, it did show more of the desire of the robots in disguise moniker the Transformers had. I mean, many of the vehicles that they transformed into were exotic sports cars. And especially if you live in an area where exotic sports cars are not commonly seen, we're going to notice them. But how many of us in our going about our day-to-day activities pays any attention to a garbage truck? Now again, like all the other Junkion characters that have been released over the years, over this last year with Legacy, he is a new and original character. But supposedly, as he hauls junk around the planet of junk, he apparently likes to pick up and listen to wrestling programs from the television. So evidently, our Junkion friend here does enjoy some laying the smack down and delivering various wrestling moves that he's obviously figured out how to do. Now, of course, I haven't been that big on wrestling. It's not a sport I enjoy. I can't really say that I do enjoy it. I have seen numerous wrestlers in my time at various conventions and toy shows, as many of them are usually the invited guests. The most prominent one that I have personally interacted with was Sergeant Slaughter at Joe Fest in 2023. I got to show him my Lego-built version of the Triple T, his vehicle, from the G.I. Joe line. And I got it signed. What more can I say about that? That was awesome. But anyway, back here to the Trashmaster. He's a bigger version of a Junkion because he comes in the Voyager class size, where all the others have been deluxe classes. His designer did show off an idea of turning him and the other three Junkions that were released in the Legacy Evolution line into something of a junk-built dinosaur. Unfortunately, I can't do that since, well, one, I don't have any idea how they did it. And two, it would require two of one of the other guys, and I don't have a second one. So we're going to have to put that idea off. Now we'll take a look here at Trashmaster's accessories, and he only has one weapon. It is this claw. It's an imposing looking weapon, to say the least. And it is hinged, so it does work. It's just weird of how it connects onto his arm, since we really don't get to utilize it in a way that's shown, where it wraps over the hand. We have to instead insert it into his hand, and you saw it just popped off there. All in all, the weapon's a pain in the butt to get attached to him. I mean, the extra plugs here on the back really don't help. They're more for attaching it when he's in his vehicle mode. But he does have a couple of other accessories of note. Like, for starters, we have the dumpster grabber arms. These aren't listed on the wiki as accessories, but they should be, since they are technically a loose part and they can be removed. Also to point out is that the front vehicle portion here can be removed. And it can be separated into two halves. These pieces are removed on the toy when you buy him brand new, so you will have to attach them to him when you get him out of the box. And then lastly, his legs both disconnect at the knee. So he can be blasted apart like that. Those are the only parts that really come off on him. So now we'll take a look here at Trashmaster's articulation. You can turn his head from side to side. Unfortunately, it is not on a ball joint, so it will not look up and down any. You can raise his arms up about so far, and they do rotate at the shoulder all the way around. You can bend his arm at the elbow 90 degrees, and he does have a swivel at his bicep, so he has G.I. Joe style battle grip. I'm going to try one. Nope, the arm, I'm not going to get the arms off, so we're going to leave it at that. When we raise these flaps up, he can twist at his hips, so he has some dance moves going. You can spread his legs apart into a full splits. That looked kind of painful. You can he has a good thigh cut going for him here, thanks to those long legs. You can raise his leg at the hip a little more than 90 degrees, and you can bend him at the knee 90 degrees. You also have an ankle joint. It's more helpful for transforming him, but hey, we'll take what we can get and be happy we got it. Okay, to get Trashmaster ready to transform, we had to reattach the dumpster arms, as you can see here. Little posts protrude outwards. And of course, we had to attach the front end of the vehicle, mainly for the obvious reason. So basically, the only thing he doesn't have is the claw, but we'll get to that in a little while. Alright, to transform him, we start by taking the section his head is on, and we push that so it folds downwards into his chest. Then we'll get this piece at his upper back, and we fold it up and over, like so. Raise his arms up. They want his arms turned, so that way the colored gray portion is at the bottom. And also, if you need to, you rotate his arms so that the guns or pipes or whatever at the backs of his hands are all flush alongside those silver areas. Then you will turn them so that the silver pieces now face inside. Like so, and then as you see here, there's an indentation on the silver pieces, and they should line up and connect with a post that's protruding on this gray piece of plastic right on the side of his chest. Just press them in like that, because they're connected to his shoulders. So you'll then pop the shoulders free, fold his arms all the way to the back. They've got a post and hole set up. See, there's the post. The hole's right there. And connect them together like so. Then we come down here and we're going to fold up these flaps on his legs where the dumpster arms are attached to. So once we've done that, you'll come down here to his feet and you're going to fold the feet up flush against his body. And then we will press the legs together. Come back here to his back and make sure that the front end of the vehicle is resting against his legs, because we're going to rotate him around at the hip like so. Then they want you to take the upper body and fold it back. As you'll see back here, there are a couple of posts just before his hands, and they should line up with some of the holes that are inside his feet. They're going to line up with his feet, mainly. There we go. Now, of course, once that's all done, we fold down these flaps, and then you can rotate upwards the arms so that they're lined up. Make sure everything's all snapped in like so. Then you come up here to the front end. And we realize we've done something wrong here, because this is supposed to line up with the front end of the body. So I gotta back up a second. Excuse me. Okay, we figured out the problem. Problem is when we fold the body to the back, it's supposed to separate from this gray piece above his hips. So that way, these posts here on the back, on his arms, will lock in to these holes here on his feet, like so. These things should fold in sideways. Then we can bring the arms back up. Popped off, put it back in, and then now when this thing folds up, these holes right here will line up with these posts here, and of course these posts on the top of the front end of the vehicle will connect to the cab and ensure a secure, snug lock. And then now to top it all off, you get the claw, you make sure that this gray piece is pointing straight out from the orange. I dropped it on the floor. And you'll take the gray posts and connect them into his hands. I'm supposed to, yeah. For starters, you make sure that the orange protrusions go in between the guns, and then you can push it down and it locks into place. And then there we have it. A Junkion version of a garbage truck. Or a post-apocalyptic garbage truck. How come you never see anybody in Mad Max or a zombie apocalypse film drive a garbage truck? At any rate, how does it roll? Rolls pretty good. Almost ran into Larry's feet over there. Now, of course, like all the other Junkions, he can be broken down into parts to be armor. Unfortunately, the instructions don't show that. They want to show a merger with axle grease. Yeah, I don't get it myself either, folks, but we'll work with it. What we do is we remove the front end of axle grease, set the rest of her aside. You also take out her engine and put it aside. Pop the front section free here on Trashmaster. Remove his front section. Put hers in its place. And then reconnect it. That gives us a garbage truck with a slightly extended front end. I don't get it, folks. I'm missing something. I'm either missing something here, or Hasbro went too lazy on this instead of giving us the practical, let's break him down into pieces and attach him to another toy look. Personally, I would have preferred that. Hey, get this stupid thing off of here. It's dumb. I don't know what somebody was thinking with that. If they couldn't come up with better, they shouldn't have bothered. Okay, getting down to my thoughts. What do I think of Trashmaster? Again, like many of the other Junkions that we've gotten, they're all original characters. We don't have a whole lot to go on. From what little we have to go on, well, his taste in television isn't the greatest. But then again, he could be watching reruns of various reality shows, so I guess there's worse. But all in all, Trashmaster's one that kind of makes some sort of sense. I mean, how do they move all the various bits of junk from one side of their rock to the other? They obviously need somebody that can do it. And Trashmaster kind of makes sense at that. As garbage trucks are usually pretty sturdy vehicles, he might make himself as a great Junkion fighter. I hope that in some future production they do include him into something so we can get more of an idea of his personality and what kind of a character he is. But all in all, the toy is rather impressive. And it is a rather unique one, since we don't get too many garbage trucks. The only real downside is, like I said earlier, I don't really like the fusion with axle grease. It just looks stupid. I'd have rather seen them break him down and make him components for a Voyager class figure. That would have been something interesting to see. And certainly would have been more appealing than just attaching a different front end onto him. At any rate, that's my review of Trashmaster. I hope you all enjoyed it. And please do remember that if you like the content we feature on this channel, I would certainly appreciate a like, share, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.